Before beginning, let me start with the basic question of what is Ayush?
You see, Ayush is an acronym of the word Ayurveda. Y stands for yoga and naturopathy. U stands for Unani, S for Siddha, and H for homeopathy. So this is a collective name for all the traditional systems of medicine that prevail in India and which are recognized by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. And it encompasses almost all the traditional systems. Now, for S, they also take Swaripa, which is a newly recognized system by Ministry of Ayush. So S also stands for Swaripa and Siddha.
Okay. So now let's go beyond that. And
yes,
what basically brought us to discuss this or have this interview or discussion is that a lot of Ayurvedic manufacturers are not aware about the rules that Ayush applies towards manufacturing, and maybe lack of understanding or lack of knowledge might be the reason of they not following that. So through this initiative, we want to spread awareness about the Ayush rules regarding manufacturing. Keeping that in mind, let me ask you the question that how can a manufacturer decide as to whether his product will fall under Ayush or FDA?
You see, Ayush also falls under FDA. I mean, I think you wanted to ask whether it is a cosmetic drug or an Ayush drug. Right. I mean, who will be the regulator?
Right, sir.
The regulator in both cases will be FDA. In Maharashtra, all the systems, whether it is cosmetics, allopathy, Ayurveda, Unani, homeopathy, everything is controlled by Maharashtra FDA. At the central level, we have CDSCO, which controls the allopathic drugs and the cosmetics, and the Ayurveda part, the traditional part, Ayurveda, Unani, homeopathy, is controlled by Ministry of Ayush. So that is one thing. Secondly, now the confusion which most of the manufacturers have is that they want to go for cosmetic drugs. Ayurvedic manufacturers, they want to have Ayurvedic ingredients into the cosmetic products. Where will they fall? Who will be they asking for a license? Will it be FDA or it will be the technical committee of Ayush which will be giving the license? Now let me clarify. The FDA, the Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act clearly defines the cosmetic drugs in Chapter 3. So they are all described in Chapter 3, and all the bases of cosmetics, whether they are oil bases, ointment bases, or whatever the form of dosage forms are there, they're all mentioned in the Chapter 3 of the Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act. Whereas the major difference is in Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act of 1945, Ayush and all the traditional systems are being handled under the Chapter 6A. So there is absolutely a different definition for Ayurveda drugs. Therefore, if you see the Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act, Naik Sahab, there is hardly any convergence. Cosmetic drug is a cosmetic is a cosmetic, Ayush is an Ayush drug. Whether it is cosmetic, non-cosmetic, if it contains the ingredients which are described in Schedule 1 textbooks of Ayurveda, they will fall under Ayush drug. Now, recently, one of the very new amendments that Ministry of Ayush has done, they have described, we are all aware that there are two types of Ayurvedic drugs that we normally talk of. One is the classical medicines, which come directly from the Shastras or the books, the traditional books, 54 books, which have been recognized by Ministry of Ayush as the traditional books and they fall in Schedule 1 of Indian and Drug and Cosmetic Act. So those traditional books have to be registered in Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act. Any book from the public will not serve as an authentic book. So authentic books are those which are mentioned in Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act Schedule 1. Now, if there is anything, any ingredient from those books, if the formulation, the whole formulation is picked up from those books and prepared by a manufacturer, it is called a classical medicine. I mean, the whole formula is same, the manufacturing method is same, and the indications of that product are same as mentioned in the classical books, the traditional books of Ayurveda. It will be called as a classical medicine. Okay. Or we, in loose language, people call it as Granthokta product, whatever is mentioned in Granthas. So okay. This is one classification. Second classification which Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act says is about the patent and proprietary drugs. Patent and proprietary drugs are those which have the ingredients from these books, from these traditional books, which are in Schedule 1 of Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act, but they are into the combinations which I feel they are right, which you may feel which are correct. Say, I'll just give you an example. Say I want to produce Arjunarist, which is mentioned in Bhaishyaji Ratnavali, which is a authentic textbook as per Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act. So okay. That Arjunarist will be called as a classical medicine because the name comes from the classics, the Granthas, the ingredients come from the Granthas, the indications will come from the Granthas. So there is no any innovation that I as Dr. Kohli or as a manufacturer have done in that. It is straight away, everything is straight away coming from the books. So okay. This is Arjunarist is a classical medicine. But now I understand that Arjun is very good for heart. I also understand Methi is good for heart. I also understand that Lasun, garlic has been researched a lot for the heart disease. So what I do is, I feel that a combination of three would be good enough to relieve the small blockages in the heart. So I make a proprietary medicine. I call it ABC, whatever. The name which is not there in the classical textbooks. I call it, say, cardioprotective or cardase or whatever name I can give it. Say I have given a name Lipidil, which is lipid lowering. I say cardiofort, which helps the cardiac functioning. So these three ingredients coming into a formula together and making a new compound which is not mentioned in the textbooks, their combination is not mentioned and their method of a manufacture is not mentioned in the textbook. The name is also new. This is something which is called as proprietary medicine. It is loosely called as patent and proprietary. We know the definition of patent is these days changed. Probably these should be called only as proprietary drugs because they're not all patented. Right. Patent have a separate definition altogether.
Right.
Now these proprietary drugs, what Ayush has done, has now, this is very important. Earlier it used to be that you take out the ingredient from the textbooks, mix them together as per your own knowledge, and give them a name of your own choice. You call it as a proprietary drug. I'll give you very simple examples. Like you see, what is the most famous one? Say Leaf 52, which comes from Himalaya. Now, is that a classical drug or that is a proprietary drug? From the name Leaf 52, I can make it out. Leaf 52 is not a name which is from the textbooks. Like Arjunarist, Dashmolarist, like Trifla Churn. This name appears to be something which is new and modern. Right. So I consider this as a proprietary drug, but on the labeling, from the label, you will make out that it is a patent and proprietary drug. The license will be given as a proprietary drug, not as a classical medicine, because this also is very important from one point of view. The GST which is applied on the classical medicines is very minimal. whereas the GST applied on the proprietary drugs is not GST, sorry. The GST is also, the rates are different, but even the excise duty is different on both these drugs. So it's very important for the manufacturer to decide whether he wants to go for a patent drug or for a classical medicine.
Okay.
The advantages and disadvantages of this are many. Like if I produce Arjunarisht or say Triflachurn, or for that matter Dashmularisht, now many companies will have the same name because they would have taken that from the textbook. This is a classical medicine. I have manufactured it. In the market, you will find by the same name 10 manufacturers which have got Dashmularisht and Arjunarisht.
Okay.
So you basically are at the mercy of the chemist, what he is giving you.
Okay.
Whereas if you have a proprietary drug, you called it as Cardiofort or Liv 52, there is no replacement for that. The doctor wrote Liv 52, the chemist has to give Liv 52.
Right.
Or you understand that Liv 52 is good for liver, you go and ask the chemist only for Liv 52. Okay. Now, this is about these proprietary and classical medicines. Okay. The best innovation that Ayush Mantralaya, the Ministry of Ayush has done in recent past, is that they have categorized the proprietary drugs into 4 types. One is the proprietary drugs that we are talking of. Second is they have also categorized AHAR, some of the products which go as a dietary supplements, right? Now they have divided. One is proprietary, the other is AHAR, the third is very important is Soundarya prasadak.
Okay.
Is a category of patent and proprietary drugs which is called as Soundarya prasadak.
Okay.
And fourth one is Ghan tablets. Ghan is the pure water extract. Just as, for example, if you take out the water extract of Arjun, it will be called as Arjun Ghan. If you take out the water extract of water extract is basically we make the decoction and we boil off the water, and whatever is the remaining is the water extract. We call it as Ghanasatwa or Ghan. So that has been recognized by Ayush as a proprietary drug. Most importantly, Soundarya prasadak is a new category that has been included into the Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act by Ministry of Ayush in Chapter 6A.
Okay.
So that makes it clear. That makes very clear that cosmetic products. Now, what is Soundarya prasadak? All those products which have the base of cosmetics but have the active ingredients from Ayurveda. These scheduled textbooks, those 54 textbooks that we mentioned, if the ingredient is from those textbooks, that will be said to be as an Ayurvedic ingredient, authentic Ayurvedic ingredient.
Okay.
So if those ingredients are there into the cream base, this will be called an Ayurvedic product and it will be labeled as a patent and proprietary drug of Ayurveda.
Okay. Okay. So now it is clear. So understanding from what you have explained, sir, any cosmetics that has the ingredients from the listed Ayurvedic books will be called as classical medicine, and those which have been a combination of different ingredients shall be called as a proprietary drugs. Right.
And in the proprietary drugs, if you have a cosmetic base and you want to add some Ayurvedic ingredients, that becomes Ayurvedic cosmetic, and that product is called as Soundarya prasadak.
Okay. So coming back,
now, how do you? Yes, please.
So coming back to the first question, sir, if I am a manufacturer and I plan to manufacture a proprietary Ayurvedic product, so should I directly approach Ayush rather than FDA for license?
That's right.
Okay.
You will have to go through. You will have to go through FDA only. In Maharashtra, we go through FDA only. We have a licensing committee of Ayush drugs. So you will have to apply to the license. Here is the catch. You see, for a manufacturer, now what he can do is it will be licensed under Ayush drug, but in the brackets he can write Soundarya prasadak / if he wants to write cosmetic, Ayurvedic cosmetics should be allowed as
Okay.
per my, because I have not seen manufacturers doing that. But a pure cosmetic product will not fall under Ayush licenses. So
Right.
that is the major difference.
Okay. So I believe that question has been clearly described and explained by you. So let's move to the
Yes.
next question.
Yeah.
What rules, what does Ayush say about manufacturing rules? Like, we know the guidelines and regulations that are required to be followed for FDA. So are the same
Yes.
rules required by Ayush, or are there some discounts given by Ayush for the manufacturers?
You have a very good regulation for Ayurvedic manufacturers also. There is no question of discounts. Regulation is a regulation, right? They have to abide by it. There is Schedule T, which speaks about GMP certifications of the manufacturing units.
Okay.
So an Ayurvedic product which has to be manufactured in a GMP certified company, and that GMP certification will come from FDA.
Okay.
And there is a Schedule T which describes what is the amount of space that is required, whether there is a quality assurance lab which is required. There are technical persons which are required in that under Schedule T. I'll just tell you that receiving and storing raw material, that's important. You have the space for that. Then you have the manufacturing process areas. Now, manufacturing process areas for different dosage formats. Say you want to make churnas, the powders. So you have a powdering facility different for which you need around 200 square feet of space.
Okay.
Then you have decoctions or liquids. You need 100 square feet of facility for that, which is mandatory as per Schedule T. Then you have the ointment base. You have the pastes. You have tableting unit. So again, 100 square feet of space for tableting. So for different dosage formats, you have the space requirements as per Schedule T, and Schedule T has to be adhered to very strictly to get a license for a GMP certified plant.
Okay. Okay.
And that all encompasses, you see, there are quality control sections, there are finished goods stores, there is an office which has to control the whole movement of the drugs, movement of the products. Then rejected goods and condemned drugs, they all have to be stored in a different, and logbooks of all these at different levels have to be maintained under Schedule T.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, to give a bit detail about the area required,
yes.
Say for example, if FDA minimum requirement is, I believe, around 3,000 square feet. For
yes.
So, could you tell me the minimum requirement for Ayush product manufacturing?
Basically, you see, Ayush manufacturing will depend on what is the dosage format you are preparing.
Okay.
Right. If you have adequate space for the machinery, man movement, material movement, and keeping it sanitized, I think that is enough. 1,500 to 3,000 is the minimum requirement. I am not very clear on it.
That's okay, sir.
But in Schedule T, you will get the space requirements. Grossly speaking, each of these dosage formats will also, because you see, other than the dosage format requirement, say for churnas, you have 200 square feet of space. Then you will need space for the raw materials which are coming in. You will need space for the quality assurance lab. You will need space for finished products. You will need space for the condom, those which are discarded products or expiry products. So you will need space for the office. I think it will amount to around 3,000 square feet, but I think we need to check with the Schedule T.
Right. Okay. That's excellent, sir. Now, moving to the next question.
Yes.
Is there, now going with the regulations, not everybody would be financially capable of setting up a manufacturing plant. So if someone who wants to get into a business of selling Ayush products, not manufacturing, but selling. So could you tell us how he can get involved in Ayush business?
I mean, he doesn't want to get made. He wants his own products to be sold, is it?
Right. Maybe he has got a recipe, but not the means of manufacturing the product.
Okay. Okay. Then it is called as loan license in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, what we do is there are manufacturers who have the manufacturing facility, and they will do it on a loan for people like me and you who do not have a capacity to build up a manufacturing facility. So what is done is basically they will acquire the licenses on their name, but on our behalf. On our behalf, they will apply to FDA, procure the license to manufacture, and the end product with the bottle or the SKU, whatever is there, the label will speak. This is manufactured by name of the company and owned by the different company. Say I have my office in Worli or maybe Pune, and I give my address there, and I give my customer care. The manufacturer doesn't give his customer care now. So that is how this can be handled, and they will take their making charges. You provide them with all the raw products, they will make it for you. They will take their making charges. This particular facility is called as loan and license facility.
Okay. So, and one more addition to
recently, I need to highlight very recently, Ayush has made a lot of changes in the licensing procedures. Those have not been implemented as yet. Okay. So I would request all the manufacturers to go on the Ayush website and see that, because they will have to remain prepared for the new regulatory environment which Ministry of Ayush is trying to create.
Okay. Okay.
So I have not been able to compare as yet as to what is the new and what is the old. I'm talking about what is the conventional as on today. So okay. Conventional that we are talking about.
That's okay, sir. We did not go into the details. What we can do is, in the end, okay, you could just tell us the right resources or point out towards the right resources like a website, and the viewers can go to the website and then get the details over there. So
I think Naik Sahab, there are Ayush Mantralaya's website is the most important. Okay. The name of the website is ayush.gov.in. Okay. This is about Ayurvedic products. You can always find Indian Drug and Cosmetic Act of 1945 yes. with amendments on the internet. Right. You put that, you will get it on the internet. On the Ayush website also you will get. You will also get on cdsco.gov.in website, which is Drug Controller of India, in short, CDSCO. Right. So about cosmetics, you will find the rules there. The regulatory mechanism of both these websites, I think if you have gone through them, you will get the whole regulatory mechanism. There are many manufacturers. Getting your own recipe manufactured by someone else is not a difficult problem. Ayurvedic cosmetics are picking up. I think in the bracket, we should be able to write now, Soundarya prasadak bracketed Ayurvedic cosmetic. So if you don't write that, if your license is not under the Ayush product, probably you will not be able to claim the benefit of the ingredients of Ayurveda that are there in the cosmetic products. So okay. With these words, I thank you, Mr. Naik.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. We are really happy that you came and explained all these things in details. And you also explained and pointed out to the website. Definitely our viewers will benefit and get further details from there. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.